What's good, everybody? It's your boy Cardinal Red, and we're back for another one.
Our main event should be a good one tonight.
Alright, y'all, so let's talk missed opportunities. Errol Spence Jr. and the missed opportunity of the Manny Pacquiao fight. Will that hurt or help Errol Spence Jr. in the long run? Because it could have went two ways when it comes to that fight. Errol Spence Jr. could have went in there and could have gave Pacquiao a worse beating than Ugas gave to him. Or Errol Spence could have went in there and Pacquiao could have gave him a beating or potentially knocked him out. So, I think he escaped what was perceived to be a dangerous situation, because I think everybody going into that fight felt like Manny Pacquiao really had a great chance of beating Ugas. Now, I think he was the underdog in the Spence fight, but I don't think anybody involved expected Ugas put up such a magnificent performance. And I think everything Keith Thurman said about Ugas was correct. Cuban fighters, people know Cuban fighters can fight. And Cuban fighters, they usually stick to a game plan, and they usually are tough opponents, tough guys to get out of there. And I don't think Pacquiao was properly prepared for that fight, and I think Ugas just basically took advantage of that. And whether he was dehydrated or was cramping, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But what if that was Errol Spence Jr.? Now, if it was Errol Spence Jr., I believe we would have saw a worse beating than what Ugas gave him, because I think Errol Spence Jr. would have, for reputation purposes, jumped on Pacquiao a lot more than Ugas did. But at the same time, Ugas might not have jumped on Pacquiao and tried to knock him out because he knew Pacquiao is still a threat. He might have felt a punch and said, okay, he still has punching power. Let me be more conservative, just keep working off of this long looping punch. Because it was working. Now, I think Errol Spence would have went for the knockout because of the glory and the reputation he would have got for being the guy to knock out Pacquiao. So, at the end of the day, I do feel like it was a missed opportunity for Errol Spence Jr. because Pacquiao did pack the house. The pay-per-view didn't do well, but I think the pay-per-view didn't do well because of Ugas' name and nobody really knowing who Ugas is. I don't think it had anything to do with Manny Pacquiao. Whatever sales they did get was solely because of Pacquiao. And if you would have added the sales that they would have got because of Errol Spence's name, I think the pay-per-view would have did very well. So those people saying that the pay-per-view was a bust, that's only because Ugas was involved and not Errol Spence Jr. So I think being that it was a packed house, being that it would have did well on pay-per-view if Spence was involved, I do feel like it was a missed opportunity for him money-wise, but perhaps he dodged a bullet because we don't know what version of Pacquiao might have showed up for the Spence fight in comparison to what version of Pacquiao showed up for the Ugas fight. He might have been better prepared for Spence than he was for Ugas. So I do believe it was a missed opportunity based off of money, either way, whether he won or whether he lost. But at the end of the day, you could say, well, hey, Pacquiao might have gave him a better run for his money, being that it was the fight that he wanted, and the Ugas fight he really wasn't expecting. So no excuses for Pacquiao, but at the end of the day, I do feel like Errol Spence cost himself pretty penny by missing that fight. He will make it up later on in his career. He's going to eventually get a Terrence Crawford fight if he doesn't go ahead and move up in weight when he makes his return. I don't think he's going to move up in weight. I think he'll take one or two more welterweight fights and then move up in weight if he's still undefeated. If he does go down to a Terrence Crawford or someone else, or you guys, then I think you'll see Spence campaign at 147 a little longer and potentially not go up in weight to fight a Charlo or a Canelo or maybe a Triple G, somebody like that. Let me know what y'all think about that down in the comment section. Let's talk about Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney for a second. Teofimo Lopez versus Devin Haney. How would that fight play out? Me personally, I'm kind of disappointed in the fact that Teofimo Kambosa hasn't come to fruition yet, and I don't know what's going on with that fight. I don't know if it's actually going to happen anymore, or if Teofimo's just moving on. You know, I heard it's supposed to happen here pretty soon, but you never know when it comes to that fight because it's been rescheduled so many times. I think Kambosa looks good. I think he can give Teofimo a run for his money if he sticks to game plan. And his game plan would be to move, to work Teofimo, try to tire him out, score points when you can. Don't try to knock this guy out. Just try to score points when you can and make it from round to round. Because I think Teofimo has a good punch and he could possibly knock Kambosa out. But Kambosa's never been knocked out. He's undefeated. I think this is a perfect fight. I think this is not a gimme fight. I do think Kambosa's coming to bring the pain. If the fight actually happens. I don't know if it's actually gonna happen. It's been rescheduled way too many times. Let me know what y'all think about that. But Teofimo versus Devin Haney, I think that's a great fight. I think it's a great matchup. I would favor Teofimo in that fight, but I think Devin Haney is a force to be reckoned with. I do still feel like Teofimo Vasyl Lomachenko was kind of a fluke. So I'm just want to see Teofimo get back in the ring with a worthy opponent. I think Kambosa is a perfect opponent, but if that fight doesn't actually happen, I do feel like Devin Haney could be the guy to take all those belts from Teofimo. So we'll have to see what's going on. You know, I have to read more into what's going on with Devin Haney and how he got out of his contract and just find out what's really going on with that. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments section. It's your boy Cardinal Red. We ain't going nowhere. We here to stay. Shouts out to Cap and Full G, man. What's good with you? Gonna have to do a live here pretty soon, man. If y'all want to collab, man, I would love to interview people, man. I don't care if you're a fan or if you're a boxer in training or if you know, I just want to interview people. I want to get the community more involved in the channel and just pick people's brains. I think it would be more interesting. So if anybody wants to be interviewed, anybody knows anybody they want me to try to get in contact with to try to interview, hit me up in the comment section. It's your boy Cardinal Red and we are
summer, man. It's summer. Hey, look, I ain't shorty. I ain't gonna hold you back. Do your thing.
The party just started, I ain't even had a drink yet. Hope she got a drink, cause me and Keith, we wanna spank that. Girls running slow on the floor when I like that. Grabbing on the ass, she ain't even trying to bite back.
That means she like it. Now turn around, take it to the floor, pick it up and bring it right back. You thought I wasn't gonna pull nothing, leaving out the parking lot with a car full of them.
Hyper penetration, that's the only way I give it to you. Magnum XL, that's the